Hello everyone and welcome back to A Year in the TikTok. Today we are covering someone that I have never covered on this channel because that is what the results of the poll were. The majority of you requested one Fat Sapphic Bro video and one new person video. So we are covering Jaimie. And I've been hesitant to cover Jaimie because there's something about Jaimie that causes that evokes irrational rage in me. I don't know what it is. There's something about the tone of her voice, and she has this mannerism where she clasps her hands in front of her and does this little shoulder shrug, and I don't know why. But I find that absolutely rage-inducing. A couple people did let me know that my audio quality was like really wonky and not great in the last video, so I am trying to tweak some things, trying a couple of different new things. I think part of it is just that I'm speaking louder than I was before. At least in previous videos, I've just gotten into the habit of speaking louder, and so I think I need to have my mic a little further away from me. We'll see how things go. But we're covering Jaimie today. I have not covered them before because I was really worried about my ability to not be a complete bitch. I feel like I can get through some of her TikToks now without just being a petty, mean, high school level bitch. So we're gonna try. If I end up being overly harsh, please grant me some grace. I don't know what it is about Jaimie specifically. I don't know what it is. Her content isn't particularly outrageous, and especially when compared to like Fat Sapphic Bro or something. But there's something about Jaimie that just causes me like an irrational level of anger. But we're gonna go ahead. Oh, and her bio just says you're a body positive bestie. She's apparently in Toronto, and then there's a link tree and a email.
Why do you have to love yourself? Does it make you a better person? Does it make you more valuable? Why is there such a need to love yourself? What's gonna happen if you do? Is your whole life gonna change? For me, that's not the case. My value doesn't change whether I love myself or not. I'm just gonna stop beating myself up if I don't.
This just feels like you're trying to find a problem with the concept of self-love or something. I don't know. They get... something I've noticed a lot with the fat acceptance movement is that they will get hyper-focused on a turn of phrase or a concept. And it's like they're trying to play devil's advocate or something. And they don't play it very well. It's like, why do you have to love yourself? You don't have to love yourself. The concept of self-love was to generate a level of self-acceptance and promote mental health and promote happiness within your own life by being satisfied with yourself and having compassion for yourself and loving yourself. No one's saying you have to. No one's saying that not loving yourself diminishes your value as a person. And if this is in relation to like that turn of phrase of, if you don't love yourself, how are you going to love somebody else? That is not saying that you are incapable of loving someone because you don't love yourself. What that is saying is, if you don't love yourself, you will be entirely too focused on your own insecurities and your own issues to give someone love and to have a healthy relationship. It's not saying that it's impossible, but it's saying that you are more likely to get in your own way. I know this isn't fat acceptance specifically, but I just find it very frustrating and very telling that it seems like they try to find issue with anything that is promoting like a cognitive behavioral or what is that where you try to like catch your own thoughts and rethink them and retool them as a way to promote a healthier mindset. It's something like that. I want to say it's cognitive behavioral therapy, but I'm not sure. You're taking it entirely too broadly. You're putting entirely too much weight on the phrase. No one's saying that if you don't love yourself that diminishes your value as a person. No one has fucking said that. Like it's something that the fat acceptance movement does, and I'm sure there's other movements that do this too, but like it's, to a certain extent, it is Tumblr-esque. in that there's issues found with everything anyone says. It's dissected and turned against it. Like, it's just, no one's saying you have to love yourself, and no one's saying that if you don't love yourself that diminishes your value as a person. No one is fucking saying that. If you created that connotation to that phrase, that's on you. That's something that you put on that phrase. No one was saying that. So this is in response to a duet. For anyone who's not looking at the screen, this is in response to a duet of a... I wouldn't necessarily call her like super skinny, but she definitely has like that ideal hourglass body shape, but without being overweight. She's not overweight either. She's like a healthy body weight. And this woman is saying when her face is pretty but she's fat, and she has this big like fluffy white towel in front of her, and then that pop sound at the end is when she drops the towel and reveals that, oh no, she has a nice figure. Jaimie is saying, when also has the caption, when her face is pretty but she's fat, and then right as the woman, that pop sound where the woman drops the towel, Jaimie has the caption, oh my god, twins. And this is just another, this kind of reminds me of feminist land whale in a way where it's like you are purposefully just trying to make someone insecure. Like, I don't know. I can see how what this woman is doing is different than the ones that feminist land whale responded to, where it was really just people primarily just doing like a body positive thing for themselves. Like, it had nothing to do with accusing people of being fat or anything. This woman has something else kind of going on, but I don't think that this required a clapback from Jaimie. Like, the fat acceptance movement really needs to learn how to just move along. Fucking move along. You don't have to respond to everything. Clearly, I don't know why you got so butthurt over this. Thoughts? Does anyone think that this was, like, particularly egregious? Especially if you saw, like, the actual video portion? Like, what do you think? I think that this is a bit of an overreach, and I hate the, oh my god, twins, because it's like, you know that you are significantly bigger than this person, and it's like you are trying to trigger an insecurity. And to a certain extent, I understand the narrative that they're going for there, in that if me being fat and calling us twins causes you insecurity, that's like a you problem with internalized fat bias or whatever the fuck they're gonna say it is. But I don't know. There's something so high school mean girly about these types of duets that I just can't help but be like, what the fuck are you doing? You know?
Then I finish with a face with just the top it off. Hey, you ain't got a clue, let's be honest. Then I finish with a face with just...
So this says when you try to give weight loss plan someone with an ED. So we'll put that into proper English. When you try to give a weight loss plan to someone with an ED. The sound clip says, you don't have a clue, let's be honest. I think that that's a little bit of a flat take. I'm not saying... I think inexperienced people trying to give people with EDs weight loss plans, if they are overweight. Jaimie claims to have had an ED, I'm guessing a restrictive ED, given the context of like this TikTok and a couple of others that I've skipped because there just wasn't anything to really comment on. And this is very much the nature of Jaimie's content, is she'll have a caption and have like a sound over it and do this kind of her clasping her hands and shrugging, or like this really half-assed dance. But in response to this one in particular, if it is a doctor that specializes in eating disorders and is working with a psychologist or whoever else is on your care team, they are like looking at Jaimie. She is morbidly obese, like you can see it. So even if she is recovering from an ED, there has to be steps to reduce that weight for her health. So if they're trying to give her a weight loss plan, chances are they're trying to do it with the eating disorder in mind. considering that just a couple of TikToks ago, she was saying like day 353 in ED recovery. I don't know what exactly ED she is referring to. I don't know the whole story behind that. I tend to avoid Jaimie's content simply because I find it so unbelievably rage-inducing for no fucking reason. This just says to me that you're trying to get on a moral high ground of, I can't believe you're asking someone with an ED to lose weight, when in reality you are morbidly obese, and while there definitely needs to be a customized plan for you given any proclivities towards EDs. Again, I don't know if this was an official diagnosis. I don't know anything, so we're going to assume a doctor diagnosed her with a restrictive ED simply because that is the narrative that I'm getting from some of the previous TikToks we've seen. If there is an ED and yet you are still morbidly obese, we're going to just set aside the little bit of confusion that arises for me from that, but we're going to set that aside. If you are morbidly obese with a restrictive ED, you would still need to lose weight. The question is how can you lose weight in a way that isn't going to cause you to go off the rails into unhealthy behaviors? It doesn't mean that you shouldn't lose weight at all. And that is what your doctor and maybe your therapist or whatever can work on together to work and make it a sustainable, healthy thing for you. But simply giving you a weight loss plan when you have an ED but you are morbidly obese, I don't think that that's an issue. The caption for this one says, when the boys in high school would as me out as a joke. I'm guessing we're talking about high school bullying because of her weight. And high school is brutal. I'm not going to deny that. My question is, how old is Jaimie? Because I think Jaimie, at least to me, looks like she's in her mid to late 30s. I could be wrong. I didn't see any age identification on her thing, so I can't say for sure. But if she is as old as I personally think she looks, I understand the scars of high school, but at this point you need to start moving past that. If you are truly as happy as you say you are, then it is time to move past the high school bullying. It is time to move past these hang-ups that you had about people making fun of you because of your weight. If you're truly happy being fat, let it go at this point. Let it go. I'm not saying what they did was right. I'm not saying that what they did didn't cause scars. But I am saying that if you are in fact in your mid to late 30s like you look, you need to start finding ways to move past that. Get a therapist or whatever if you're still hung up on that. I was homeschooled, but in the homeschool group that I belonged in, there was this really kind of bitchy girl that was insistent on being the smartest. There was this kind of unspoken competition between her and myself as to who was the smartest. I do think I engaged a little bit. This went on for years. This went on from the time we were 12 to the time we were about 16 when my family left the homeschool group. So about 4 years. And I think for the first year, 2 years, clung on to being the smartest because that was my thing at the time. At age 14, I went to my first anime convention, and that became a new source of identity for me. So I didn't care as much about being seen as the smartest. And so I didn't meet her challenges so much, but she took every opportunity she could to make me look dumb. And she would always wait to talk about it until we were in the full peer group, but would ask me for help on the homework behind the scenes. She was a bitch. 100%. Not denying that. I'm in my 30s now, though. I don't care. It's something I remember. It's something that gave me the experience to kind of see what a frenemy is and people that don't genuinely have your best interest. So there was a lesson that I took from my experience with this person. She does not hurt me anymore. I don't care. I don't care. I have found so many things to occupy my mind and my time that the idea of dwelling on something that happened 18 to, like, actually, no, it'd be more like 19, almost 20 years ago to like 15-ish years ago, because that was the time span. I don't, like, why would I give energy to that? You know? It was so long. I don't care. I was also the fattest person in the homeschool group, and it was pointed out a couple of times. Oh fucking well. I am so fit now and so happy with my body now. I don't give a fuck about what happened with fucking my adolescent peers 20 years ago. It's time to move on. So, the caption for this one says, not asking how much people weigh, with the sound being, no, isn't this easy? I agree. I think it's rather gauche to ask someone how much they weigh. I do. If it is a doctor asking how much you weigh, or a medical professional, that is needed for record-keeping purposes. It is a marker of health, whether you like that or not. I just want to put that out there. There's a couple of comments over here that say 100 pizzas or 100 burgers. Someone says 653. She doesn't look 600 pounds to me. I mean, she looks big. Don't get me wrong. She looks like she's probably between 450 and 550, I would say. Maybe a little bit less. I don't think she's quite in the 600s yet. I do think that it's a little gauche to, like, ask that person their weight. Is it also gauche for me to speculate on how much she weighs? Yes. I'm not claiming to be, like, the pinnacle of social grace by any means. At the same time, I think it's gauche to ask and speculate on this person's weight, on Jaimie's weight. It's also part of being on the internet. And you don't move much in your TikTok. Like, you just stand there with a wide shot so we can see your full body. It's kind of like you're setting it up for people to ask you. You know? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Tell me your thoughts.
3 things to say if someone is making unwanted comments on your plate. Should you really be eating that? Well, I don't know. Your dad fed it to me last night. That looks like a lot of food. This is my plate, and I don't appreciate your unwanted comments. Thanks. I could never eat that. Well, nobody asked you. Please exit stage left. 3 things to say.
So this is another example of, for some reason, when she's talking, like, I get, like, irrationally angry. I don't necessarily think that even what she's, I mean, I think that's the first one, well, your dad fed it to me last, like, that's, how fucking old are you to make that sort of comment, but what the fuck ever. It's not that I think that it's wrong, and I don't even really have any counterpoints to it in particular, because should you really be eating that, like, unless you're a really close loved one who's, like, concerned about their weight, I agree, like, just shut your fucking mouth. I don't know why, though. Is it the vocal fry? Is it, like, her somewhat nasally voice or something? I don't know. But her voice pisses me off for some reason. I don't know why. So the caption says, I may be fat, doesn't mean I'm ugly. And the sound says, like, will we ever learn? And there are plenty of fat women that can look very conventionally attractive otherwise. I'll be honest, I don't think Jaimie's one of them. But beauty is very much in the eye of the beholder, so I have a hard time saying, like, there's conventional beauty, and then there's just general beauty. And general beauty can fit into any number of categories based on a person's taste. For someone that talks so much about diet culture and the beauty ideal, though, shouldn't there be a bigger focus from the fat acceptance community rather than forcing others to see yourselves as pretty? Saying that, like, fat doesn't equal ugly. Shouldn't there be a bigger focus if you're so against the beauty ideal, the body hierarchy, XYZ in regards to what's considered attractive, rather than forcing people to view you as attractive? Wouldn't it make more sense to say that beauty shouldn't matter as much as it does? Which is, like, part and parcel with what's been said for a while now. The truth is that beauty, and conventional beauty in particular, does matter to a degree in how you're treated. Is that right? No. But that's welcome to human beings. We are flawed individuals that are easily swayed by pretty people and pretty things.
Boy, a king. You've heard a lot you've never seen. Mother Earth, Mother Mary, rise to the top. Divine feminine, I'm feminine.
So this was something that was put on a lot of the fat acceptance stuff for a while. The what's feminine, I'm feminine, what. But this wasn't attacking your feminine. The caption she put on here says, "You'll never be attractive looking like that." Attractiveness and femininity don't necessarily have to go hand in hand. There are people that can be very feminine and not very attractive, at least in my opinion. Like, femininity is a behavior, and to a certain extent there's a temperament there, because typically what we associate with femininity is a level of gentleness, and I mean, there's other things that go into femininity. I'm not gonna like go into a whole dissection of what it means to be feminine, but I've seen people that have this very soft, feminine quality to them, but they're not the prettiest people there. They're not, like, the most attractive. They're not, but it's that softness and that grace that they carry with them that just evokes this really graceful and feminine nature to them. So I think she missed the mark on this one.
Sorry, I can't be your man. I'm sorry, she a fucking fan.
So this caption says, "Thinking everyone who's rude to me is secretly in love with me." That is, I'm not sure if that's a narcissism or a desperate defense mechanism because you're insecure. But it's one of the two. Like, I don't know. I think that's assuming that people that are rude to you have the same emotional depth as a 6th grade boy with a crush on a girl in his class. I think that, I mean, don't get me wrong, people can be very childish and can behave in ways that are very childish. But that doesn't mean that everyone who's rude to you is in love with you. And I think that it's something worth noting is that I think that she's framing this probably in the realm of they're rude to me because I'm fat, rather than they may be rude to you for other reasons. Maybe you're just unlikable. Doesn't mean that they might just find you utterly frustrating to deal with. They may find you intolerable. Not because you're fat, but because you're kind of whiny. Because you often put yourself in a victim role. And people can get tired of that. I mean, I'm just saying, I think that there's an issue when people are rude to you, for you to take on this defensive stance of, well, then they must have a crush on me, like that's a defense mechanism, or to just like hate them back would be another way of dealing with it. But if someone's rude to you, it doesn't necessarily hurt for you to examine your own behavior for a moment and think, did I do something that could be construed as rude? And then it's up to you at that point whether you want to rectify that or not. It's up to you if it's something you feel the need to address. There have been a few times when people like were mad at me and thought that I was rude, and I ended up standing by what I said or did. I don't have an exact example for you, but like I ended up standing by it because it's like, no, this falls in line with what I think and what my values are. So we're just going to have to agree to disagree here. But it still doesn't hurt for you to take stock of your own behaviors just for a moment.
Majority of you are overweight, on drugs, didn't
Literally have the perfect solution for you. If you would just stop talking, we'd have world peace. Problem solved.
majority of you are
That smile at the end fucking pissed me off so fucking much. Oh god, there's something about Jaimie that just evokes an anger in me that I can't. I have been trying to figure out what is it specifically about Jaimie that pisses me off so much. So part of it I think is her voice. I'm rather sensitive to sounds. Like I've always had a sensitive level of hearing, and someone's voice, like how their voice sounds, will sometimes color how I view them. It's something I've tried to work on, but there's something about her voice that I find just intolerable. He's posting, so this thing, like, if you want to say, oh yeah, just stop telling them we'll have more, because clearly you're just trying to clap back. But if that's the case, don't complain when people take your videos and respond to them online. I don't know if Jaimie has done this so much. Fat Sapphic Bro, Splotchmaker, and there's someone else whose name is not coming to mind at the moment, who like get angry when other people make videos on them in commentary like I do. And it's like, yeah, you do the same thing. You are taking someone's TikTok that someone put on their own channel and responding to it. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that it goes both ways. So if you don't like it, private your channel and stop responding to people like this. But the truth is that, at least I haven't seen his whole video, but to a degree at least, he's right, at least from what we were shown here. I'm not sure who he's responding to, but we'll say fat acceptance community. You guys are overweight. You guys are overweight and obese, and a lot of you are on medication to handle things that, whether you want to agree with it or not, were caused by your obesity. Like, he's not wrong. I'm sorry that you guys don't want to hear it. You can ignore it then. It's not like this was sent directly to you as far as I know. And even if it was, you don't have to dignify it with a response. Sadly, we only made 4 days through Jaimie because she posts so fucking much, and I skipped several TikToks. But we are out of time for today. Tell me, what do you think of Jaimie so far? I have a hard time giving significant, like, a firm opinion on her because I can't tell how frustrating she is and how much I just don't like her. Like, it's some part of it is to do with her voice, and then for some reason I find her little clasping her hands in front of her and her little shrug absolutely rage-inducing. I don't know why, but it pisses me off so fucking much. So I'm leaving it there. Couple notes from this week. I took my final. It took me 3 fucking hours to get it done, but I got it done, and I've been exhausted ever since. Actually, I'm feeling pretty good today because I took the day off work. I'm recording this on a Friday. I took the day off work, and I'm just catching up on some sleep and getting some R&R in. For those of you that responded to my community post, thank you so much. I was, like, in a full-on panic over it for a couple of hours at least. And you guys really helped make me feel a little bit better, given that the kids were already reading Naruto. And the FMA recommendation wasn't as bad as I was worried that it was. It was kind of hard for me to tell because it was, even though it's a teen book, it was in the district, in the school district I work in. I can see what is in the other libraries, and it's only available at the high school level. Which made me, but Naruto is available at the middle school level. So I was worried about that. And then I'm trying to get a job at that school. So I was like, oh, fuck, if the parent gets mad, is that going to jeopardize my chances? Is that, like, I was less worried about my mistake because I can recognize that the mistake has been made and I rectified it the best I could. But I was terrified of the fallout and the potential fallout. And reading your guys' comments and hearing your perspectives made me feel a lot better. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it, you guys. I can't express enough how much you guys helped me. So, thank you. So, next week, I'm about to record the Fat Sapphic Bro video for this week. Next week, we'll be doing another Fat Sapphic Bro video, only because they post so fucking much, and I'm trying to, like, finish their run. And it's just going to be something that we're working towards. And then after Fat Sapphic Bro, I think we have Fat Fab Feminist, and then Fat Dr. UK as my, like, next few accounts of focus. But I do want to start, like, touching on some of these other creators, just to get a bit more variety in. I don't know, like, Jaimie posts a fucking lot, so I don't know how long it's going to take for us to get through hers, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. If there's any TikTok fat acceptance creator that you guys want to see, feel free to put it in the comments. Because I have a big list of them and I've hardly touched on any of them. It's just one of those things where it's like, who should I touch on next? And I half the time I'm not sure. And I have a ton on my list though. So if there's anyone in particular that you want to see, let me know. And I think that's all I have to say for today. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.